Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, the black and gold standard for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage. Now, here's your host, Joe Kuzma and Brian E. Roach.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Steel City Underground podcast. My name is Joe Kuzma. Joining me here from a remote location in parts unknown somewhere or other, and having decorated his current whereabouts for the podcast, one Mr. Brian E. Roach. Brian, that old guy, it looks like you have a naked old guy staring at a terrible towel over your shoulder.
Yes, actually three naked old guy gargoyles staring at each other being grouchy. It's apparently the standard gargoyle look in Brno, which I've actually been told is actually pronounced Brno.
Okay, and that's located where in the world? So people, people don't know where that is.
You know, I'm going to tell them where either. It is. No, I do know. I'm going to tell everybody where it is, and then they're going to go, well, where's that?
Well, wait a minute. Well, we could show them.
We can. I am in the Czech Republic. That is where I am right now.
Okay. And let's see. I was trying to do this so I could actually show somebody, but I got to pull up the old Google Maps in order to do this. While we're doing this, by the way, while I was driving around in my travels today, I saw one of these Kia Souls, you know, the little box car cars. They're look like a little box, like I guess like a toaster, because somebody had a window sticker and it said got toast, but it was the Kia Soul with 2 slices of toast popping up out of the back of the car on the sticker, right? So I guess they have acknowledged that this thing is a toaster, and I just thought that was quite interesting, since I'm the host who loves toast. You're the host who doesn't like toast. So
I don't like toast at all.
It's I hear toast is the most popular cuisine in the Czech Republic.
No, potatoes are.
Potatoes. Okay, so see this thing. Gotta love like Google Maps. I don't want to show my whole screen because this is going to show my whole browser history of everything I'm looking up for my vacation. So here we go. Now, or my home address. That will not work either. As much as people may be interested in it. Let's see here. Now we got it. There's Brno. And that still doesn't help a whole lot, right? So we gotta
you gotta zoom out a little bit.
Zoom out. It's here.
Yeah.
So no, now it just zoomed me in even further. Okay, we gotta go way out here. And okay, so it's somewhere. If somebody zoomed out too far.
Prague. We're south of Prague, southwest or southeast.
So
of
north
Prague,
of Austria. It's by like Slovakia, Hungary, you know, the whole eastern bloc there, Poland and everything. If you look close enough, we could find
tomorrow. Brian. I will be in Vienna.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. Well, Brian, I mean, obviously it's a big time difference and everything else. We're psyched up for a Steelers game here. Thank you for taking time to be here with maybe more than 2% of the listening audience as usual, from halfway around the world. So this is fun. And the next time I join you, I may be in a remote location too. I may have to do this from a beach, maybe if I get a chance to do the post game. Yeah,
just a little pity party for you. You got to do the podcast at the beach.
I know it's
so sad.
Yeah, I know. I'm very, very brokenhearted over that. What are your expectations? Let's jump into football before we get accused of not talking football, because you know we would never be accused of that, right?
Right, of course.
Right, of course. Yeah. Okay, so expectations Sunday. Steelers are wearing the block number jerseys, by the way. That was the big announcement.
Very big, huge, massive announcement.
Yes, very big. Throwback uniform. There are people on social media that aren't even aware that the Bumblebees have been retired for like years now. Why not the Bumblebees? You didn't even like them when they were around. You didn't like Todd Haley either, but you want him too. So Jerry Dulac says, no complaints in his chat this week about Matt Canada. Not a single comment about Matt Canada. It's amazing what winning will do. Cures all, right? But I'm not sure if it's
I'm more than willing to still complain about Matt Canada.
Well, you've got a 3-5 Green Bay Packers team coming to Pittsburgh for the third straight home game being hosted at Acrisure here. And the Packers team has not looked very strong. I mean, they finally relented to the Detroit Lions, as some teams are doing this year. Detroit's been hot. They had a 4-game losing streak with a bye smacked in the middle. So the bye week didn't even cure all. They had lost to the Raiders 17-13. They had lost to the Denver Broncos, another lowly team here in the NFL this season, 19-17, and that was after 2 weeks to prepare for going to Denver. And then they lost 24-10 to the Minnesota Vikings. They did put up 20 points against an LA Rams team that fielded who at quarterback? Brett Rypien? Yeah.
Is that Mark Rypien's son?
I believe it is, actually. I believe Brett is. 13-28, 130 yards.
Genealogies with Brian.
Genealogies with Brian. Family tree.
Family trees.
Ancestry.Brian.
Wait, family trees. Look, I have a tree on.
Oh, what is that? It's a tree. Is it a shrubbery?
No, it is the Celtic tree of life.
Oh, okay. Okay. I would not have recognized that. But anyway, this is a team that had been struggling massively. You talk about teams struggling offensively. The Steelers finally get 4 red zone trips in their last game on the Thursday Night Football game against the Titans. They now draw Jordan Love and a Packers offense that came out and scored 38 on the Chicago Bears in week 1, 24 on the Atlanta Falcons in a loss. They lost to the Falcons 25-24. This is actually the other side of this, is that defensively they hadn't been so strong either. They had scored 18, 20, 13, 17, and 10 before putting up 20 on the lowly Rams last week. And I don't think the Rams in that game, how many first downs did the Rams have? Actually 10, believe it or not. So as opposed to 21 first downs that the Packers had. So they didn't do a whole lot. Possession-wise, the Rams were punt, fumble, punt, field goal, punt, missed field goal, turnover on downs, a pick, a punt, and another turnover on downs. But you look at the Green Bay Packers in this very game as the same too. And I wouldn't say that the Rams defense is on par with the Steelers. I'd say the Steelers defense, with or without Minka Fitzpatrick, is probably better, above the line here, right? So a punt, a TD, punt, missed field goal, 2 fumbles, a field goal, a punt, a field goal, touchdown, end of game. So they got it going a little bit later, but we're really never... This game was never out of control for Green Bay. They led the entire time. And that makes sense because they're playing against the pretty poor LA Rams team minus Matt Stafford. So just putting this into perspective with let's talk about this. The game is at Acrisure Sunday. Might as well show I'll show the graphics now. Why not? We'll pull it up.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, all in blue. CBS has the single header this week, not the double header. So some of those colors are the late games. So if you're in the blue, you're going to get the Green Bay Packers, Pittsburgh Steelers. There should be a pretty good amount of Packers fans, I think, that are going to make this trip. But this goes pretty much.
There are for sure.
Yeah, they travel extremely well. So you're going to have to check this out at 506sports.com or at steelcityunderground.com this weekend if you want to see the full map. But it's pretty much the state of Pennsylvania, state of New York, the whole northeast there, and down into Virginia and part of the Carolinas will get this game. There's some random spots throughout Tornado Alley in Oklahoma there too. And then Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, the whole Green Bay area, which somehow extends into like Montana up through the Pacific Northwest instead with Seattle. So it's a very odd map this week. It's not full coverage by everyone.
Strange.
Yeah, it's all over the place. The game that was in red is the late game with the Chargers and Detroit Lions, which is in a lot of the markets like, your Four Corners there with Colorado and New Mexico and whatnot. So anyway, that'll get the A team again, though. Ian Eagle and Charles Davis, and those guys are working hard. They're all over the place, and it's on national radio as well. Sports USA covering this one. I am not familiar with them. Packers lead this series 20-16 all time. They won the last game, which was in 2021. The Steelers won the last game that was at home back in 2017, minus a one Aaron Rodgers. That was a 31-28 victory over. Remember the quarterback's name? It wasn't That wasn't Kaiser, was it? No, it was a different guy because he got canned. He was like the next like great big thing backup type guy that didn't look too good when he ended up playing. Rodgers was hurt, but the Steelers lead this series as long as they're at home, 8-7, and of course, Packers would be leading that away and also in the playoffs with the Super Bowl 20 or 40 45
Yes.
45 win. And I'm sure that'll come up many times, even though no one from those two teams is still around other than like maybe Mike Tomlin. And owners or something, you know, chairman in the case of the Packers. Matt LaFleur's 1-0 all time against the Steelers. Mike Tomlin's 3-1. And that kind of gets down the whole series history there. I hope you're enjoying sucking down that beverage. What was that thing, by the way?
I do. Hold on, I'll show you in a second.
Oh, wow. What on earth? In a shoebox somewhere. What do you got? You got a whole bunch of these.
It's Saguaro.
Saguaro. Interesting.
And I don't know what it's sparkling water.
Oh, sparkling water.
Yeah, like, you come
put
to
your
Europe,
pinky up. You put your pinky up like
thing.
Dr. Evil when you do that sparkling water.
Here's the thing. You come to Europe, you can't just say I'd like water, right? What do you want to drink? I'd like a glass of water. And they look at you and they go, still or sparkling? And I'm like, what the excuse me. I was almost dropped it there.
Which might have been appropriate. That might have been what I would have said.
What the hell is still water? I don't want water that sounds like alcohol. Is that moonshine? Did you put it in a still? I don't know what that is. They're like, sparkling is the bubbles. And I went, oh, I like bubbly water. Give me some bubbly water.
Oh, do you have somebody that sounds like Borat and they're kind of like, you know, would you like the bubble water or you want the still water?
Yes. There are many people who sound something similar to Borat here.
Oh, why?
They're all very friendly people, except if you are in their restaurants and they have to wait on you, in which point they wish you would just leave.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that happens in America, too.
Well, but they have to work for tips in America. You don't tip in Europe.
Oh, this is true. Yes, it's the tip culture is a lot different. I say this as like I sound like maybe the most ignorant man on the internet with my American flag just calling me out here on the side with the salute to service stuff. Anyways. Yeah, we don't have any injury reports yet because we're doing this ahead of, you know, Brian's traveling, I'm traveling, just some program notes. We don't know when any of us are going to be back for a post game. Maybe we don't even get to, who knows? So
I'll be back, but whether we have a game or post game or not, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I don't know about the Packers offense. I would think they would have to run the football. I'm going
to sum this up for you.
Okay.
They're going to put up 45 points. You know why?
The Steelers are.
No. Packers are going to put 40. They're going to drop 45 points on us. You know why?
Why?
Because there's no earthly reason that team should score a single point against our defense.
It'll be another one of these 31-28 games. It's going to
and there's just no earthly reason that they should even get a point. None.
Yeah, I'm looking up. That was I remember it was a Sunday night game. Brett Hundley, that's who it was.
There you go. Yeah, that guy.
That guy. He's
Attila the Hundley.
Yeah, that was about it, man. He was done after that season. He appeared in 2019 for the Arizona Cardinals, but then again, who hasn't appeared for the Cardinals outside of you or I at the quarterback position? How about this? Here's a statistic for you, Brian. 10 rookie quarterbacks have played or started a game in the NFL this season. Like, I don't even know how that's humanly possible. So,
you know what that says to me? That it's more than 9.
It is more than 9. You have Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, Anthony Richard, who's now in IR, Will Levis, Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders, Dorian Thompson Robinson for the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, Tyson Bagent with the Bears, Clayton Tune last week with the Cardinals, Jaron Hall last week with the Vikings, and then led way to Josh Dobbs. And then Tommy DeVito is going to start for
Danny's son?
Grandson, maybe. I mean, he's a pretty old dude. He's getting up there.
Yeah.
So, everyone that's crying and squawking about, I had a piece of about it overreactions with Kenny Pickett over on SteelCityUnderground.com. And if you didn't have a chance to check it out, it's basically like the overreactions, the knee-jerk reaction of they should have drafted this quarterback instead of this quarterback, all about CJ Stroud with his, record breaking for a rookie, 5 TDs in the game and over 400 yards of passing. And need I remind everyone that even Mitchell Trubisky at one point had a 6-touchdown game in his career. It doesn't anoint you as the second coming, the next Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. Even on that, the guys who did the guys with this whatever accolade or whatever that Stroud matched, maybe this was even the week before, right? Because the Texans have been putting up like 30 points a game. They've been getting it done, right? So it was
I'm gonna just tell you.
Oh, it's
I get your comparisons, but
Stroud's fine. I don't have a problem with
CJ is the real deal, man.
Well, let's talk, because people are they're angry because going into last week's game, no way the Steelers are going to win. Will Levis just threw for 4 touchdowns. He comes out of Kentucky. He's on fire. And we knew that. He didn't throw anything except for the pick to finish the game, right? Does he look like he might have a future? Maybe, but it's tough to say. Duck Hodges had a hot hand for a minute in the NFL as an undrafted guy. And so anyways, my point is some people were like, they could have tanked and they could have just got Levis anyways. And we don't know if Levis is any good.
Well, Levis, why would you tank for Will Levis?
I don't know. I don't understand. And that's
Levi Strauss. You can get that at Sears, man. I'm not tanking for that.
I don't think. Okay.
I know Sears doesn't exist anymore. All right, you can get
Strausses.
it at J.C. Penney's. Levi Strauss exists.
Levi Strauss, but Strauss is with the Strauss chocolate malts. You ever have the Strauss?
I don't know what the hell that is.
Basically a Frosty, and it is a very popular. There's some people that are around that Youngstown area, and maybe even in Pittsburgh that are like, oh, he's hitting hard. And trust me, the Isley's chipped ham. See ya. I see you guys. So I see yins. No, my point is that everyone forgets that Kenny played hurt last week. So any throws that he missed, it was just kind of ridiculous to me that we're picking apart Kenny Pickett's performance playing with hurt ribs and still completing over 63% of his passes, 19 of 30, including game-winning drive and touchdown. Would you like everything to be a little bit better, smoother? You want to see progress? Well, this is where it is. Because this Green Bay Packers team, I think, is a team that can make progress with. You were never going to get CJ Stroud, so everyone shut your yapper.
That is correct.
Yeah. When's the last time the Steelers had a top 5 draft pick?
And where did he go 5? Is that where he went?
No, he went number 1 overall, actually.
I thought Bryce Young went number 1.
No. Well, I'm talking about, Stroud was, hold on a second. Now you got me. Yeah.
2? No, he wasn't even 2. 3, maybe?
Because the Cardinals got in the middle of this thing, right?
Yeah.
So the Panthers made the big trade with the Bears and got up to number 1. And I thought Stroud was number 2. Yeah, he was number 2, man.
He was throwing me off. Number 2.
Yeah, come on.
I couldn't remember.
Well, you had me thinking now that they took Will Anderson. I thought they did the whole draft day thing, and I was. You'd have me. I know it's late there and burnt.
Remember that I did hold up a note that said CJ no matter what at one point. But the thing is, as much as the Steelers are never going to tank. They're never going to tank.
Never going to tank. They haven't had a top 5 pick since Terry Bradshaw was number 1 in 1970.
Yeah. So they're not going to tank. If they are really, truly bad, right, that's how they'll get a top pick. But they're never that bad.
Exactly.
That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. I was drinking my water, but I was doing it off camera. You are a thirsty guy. I'm glad you're getting your hydration in. So
that's what she said.
Ooh. You're a thirsty guy. Nice. I was just looking too. It's like if Mason Crosby was still hanging around with the Packers, he would have been the only guy still left from like the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Pull out from that. Yeah, he was 2007 speaking. She said that too, pulling out. Yeah. So anyways, they dumped his ass a little while ago.
That's just dirty. Why'd you do that? That's just dirty.
You're the one that's staying in porno. I don't know. I mean, Borno. Sorry. I messed it up. Anyway, Packers are 20th in points scored per game. The Steelers are still 29th, but the Packers are at 20.0. The Steelers are at 16.6. Points allowed, the Packers are 10th somehow, 19.9. So this gets skewed somewhat depending on opponents. Steelers are 13th with 20.4, so we're talking about a half point, which isn't real. A half point, you can't just score a half point, so they're right there. Steelers are +8 in takeaway differential. The Packers are a -2. They are 21st in the league. They're coughing it up a little bit. 22nd in pass and rushing yards per game. Steelers are 25th in pass and 25th in rushing yards. About 10 yards separate these two teams of offense. So they've been both miserable at different points. Defensively, the Green Bay Packers are 9th against the pass and 23rd against the run. So logically, the Steelers will probably only attempt 5 runs. And there you go, Brian. Steelers defensively somehow bend not break. 25th against the pass and 29th against the run. And there's really only 9 yards separating their run defense, 9 yards per game right there. Pretty evenly matched, I would say, at least by the numbers on paper.
Yeah, I guess. That's the thing. The numbers on paper don't really tell the tale. Take out the Houston game and take out the that 49ers debacle, and the Steelers defense has played much better than that. The problem is, as we repeatedly say all the time, if they're on the field for 40 minutes out of the hour of the game, they're going to start giving up yardage. It's just a fact of life. If the offense is going to come out and go 4 and out or 3 and out 4 times in a row, that's going to be a problem. So the great thing was, of course, obviously last week, some weird trick of the light made me view a first series touchdown. I didn't think that was illegal, but
that's not permitted in Pittsburgh. You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, that was something they probably got yelled at later and told don't do that anymore. I don't know, but in my mind, this game is not. It's not really a evenly matched contest, right? I believe the Steelers defense is far, far, far better than the Packers offense. And I think it's better than the Packers defense. The question will be, how do they react with Holcomb out and Quan Alexander now taking the green dot? How do you continue to react with Minka not playing? Does Patrick Peterson start to play a little more safety? How do you do the things you need to do to keep the defense there? And can the offense start to sustain some positivity that they began to get in the last game? We'll see. I don't think this should be a close game. I don't know what the point spread is. I don't know what the odds are. I don't think this should be a close game. I honestly think the Steelers should win this game something like 17-0. But I'm not anticipating them blowing them out in like 35-0. I don't think they're going to score that many points. I don't think that they have their crap together that well.
No, I don't either. They're overdue for a game that, they do something more than that. You know what I mean? So you're right. Yeah, it's hard to envision them doing the 4 red zone trips. But imagine, George Pickens keeps his feet in. Maybe Kenny's ribs don't hurt. Maybe the ball's down a little. Maybe it's a little. I'm not gonna say it was a poorly thrown ball. The dude had like a third of the end zone there, and just got to get his toe down. You know what I mean? So, and of course that was a pebble in Mike Tomlin's shoe with all the Instagram stuff with George Pickens. I'm so glad that we didn't talk or have anything earlier in the week, and we had this time, because people just like to make a mountain out of a molehill, don't they?
Didn't I say after the post game, it's like, just let him grow up some. I mean, it is what it is. He's gonna, he's still a young kid. Same thing with Kenny. They're young. They got to grow. You expect them to act like kids right now because they are kids.
Yeah, and you're expecting them to grow, and having Deontay Johnson back out there certainly helps on the offense. Having Cam Hayward back on defense certainly helps there. We could see Peterson in more of a safety role. I could see Peterson making that transition. Like, you've got players that are Hall of Fame caliber that are just good and are just good ball players. And I think he can make that transition that Rod Woodson once made. Boy, would that be a feather in the Steelers' cap if he could. Right now, they're kind of getting a taste of that just out of necessity. say it's Minka Fitzpatrick. We're assuming is going to be sidelined. It didn't sound too promising from Mike. Mike Tomlin, as usual, will be monitoring that or whatever. The spread, by the way, Brian, is Steelers -3, so they're favored at home as they should be, but only by.
And isn't that like a toss-up? Essentially, when you're at home, you expect to get at least 3, right? The field goal is so it's basically even, is what they're saying. They're agreeing with your original statement of this is an evenly matched game. I just disagree with that.
I'm not going to say it's as evenly matched because I don't know. Jordan Love's going to have some problems, I think. Over under, by the way, 38.5. That's an under game.
I take the under on that. I take the under.
Yeah, I don't know. Either of them teams are really scoring 20 per game, even on the average. Something crazy would have to happen. I think Jordan Love is going to get harassed. I think this Packers team has they've struggled with so many other teams, as I mentioned already this season. I mean, how do you give up 330 total yards of 339 total yards of offense to the Denver Broncos? I mean, that was almost like a get-right game for the Broncos. They almost gave up 300 to the Raiders.
I'm betting the under.
But Jordan Love, he's only taken 18 sacks. He has 12 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. A lot of that is, I believe, earlier in the season here. I'm bringing up his game logs right now. And yeah, he had the 3 touchdowns apiece. So 6 of those touchdowns already came in the first 2 games of the season against the Bears and the Falcons. And since then, and that was 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. Now he's been figured out. Now that they played 2 wimpy defenses to start the year, he goes and, he's been throwing picks. A pick one game, 2 in one game, 3 in one game. He didn't throw one last week, but then again, they played it a lot safer against the Rams. Probably keeping it on the ground. Aaron Jones, their biggest threat as far as running back. He had a touchdown last week, 20 carries for 73 yards. That was only good for a 3.7 average. A.J. Dillon is the complement. He's kind of the Jalen Warren to Najee Harris comparison. 9 carries, 40 yards with a 4.4 average. They'll get some wide receivers involved every now and then. Jaden Reed, who is a pretty good, outstanding, well, not quite, I will say outstanding just yet, but a good young wide receiver. He had a 21-yard catch. He also added 3 catches for 19 yards. Their big threats would be Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, who both caught for about 30-ish yards last week, because Jordan Love, he completed 20 of 26, but Luke Musgrave, one of his bigger targets, caught 3 of those balls. He's a check down guy in a lot of cases. Aaron Jones had 4 catches in this game as well. I think when you add TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, we saw some looks where they had a third edge rusher out there, like Nick Herbig. They were kind of dotting the I a little bit too here, Brian. I think after the Holcomb injury, they started putting TJ and rushing him from the center. So there's some different creative things that the Steelers were showing on film, or things that we saw in the last game that are a possibility in the absence of Cole Holcomb, who, if we didn't fully mention, but we kind of surmised that knee injury is season ending, and he has now been placed on injured reserve. Anthony McFarland coming back might give a little bit of a spark to the Steelers special teams. He's taking the spot that Holcomb opened up from being placed on IR. So, if you want to jump over, they just posted the injury. Oh, I will do so.
But only, I think at least Steelers only have the Steelers side of it.
Well, that's usually the way it goes, but I know my, I got the Apple Watch, right? And it's buzzing, buzz. And I'm like, oh, what's going on here? All they know, I'm trying to do work. So, let's see here. We have got, come on. Okay, so Minka is a DNP, Landon Roberts, limited knee injury. Montravius Adams, who didn't finish last game, also a DNP, did not practice. Cam Hayward, limited, probably just still like nursing him and taking him along slowly. Yep. You don't want to overwork the elder statesman and then not have him for the home stretch here of the season. So
can't stress that groin.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Packers, what are they featuring on defense these days? Kenny Clark. They got Devontae Wyatt's a guy that you liked coming out of the draft process a couple of years ago. Rashawn Gary is one of their edge rushers. They got Quay Walker. He's a pretty decent young linebacker. Preston Smith, some other guys like that. Jair Alexander's a really solid corner. But, I mean, I see holes all over this defense. I'm hoping that the Steelers can play more mistake-free football. Probably one of the better players that they have who doesn't play full-time or isn't officially a starter is Lucas Van Ness, the edge rusher out of Iowa, first-round pick for the Packers this year. So we'll see how that ends up maybe playing out here, Brian. I think I had a thought, and I'm trying to come back around to it. And it's totally lost, but I will come back to me. It's one of those things like when we finish a show, sometimes it's like, oh, I wish I would have mentioned that. Oh, the AFC North. How important is this game to the Steelers? Even though this is an NFC game, this is big.
They can't drop a game right now.
No, everybody, if it finished today, everybody would be in.
Yeah, everybody would be in. And look, the Bengals are now the Bengals again, not the Bungles. The Bengals are back to being who they were the last 2 seasons. So those are going to be tough games when we get to them. They can't afford to drop what really should be a gimme game here.
Yeah. You've got
this is, it's not a trap. It's not a trap. Not a trap game.
A trap for the following week in Cleveland is what you're trying to say.
It's not a trap. Be quiet.
Yeah, I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way either. But the Browns right now get to travel to the Ravens, so they did some tough.
Well, one of them's going to lose.
Yeah. So
there you go. We got one AFC North team. One of them will lose this week for sure.
Yeah. So you got a 5-3
I guess
Browns.
There could be a tie.
Yeah, all at 5-3. Browns, Steelers, and Bengals. Right? Everybody's 5-3. Everybody's had their bye.
Who did the Bengals play this week?
The Bengals are hosting the Houston Texans.
Come on, CJ.
Yeah.
Let's go, Mr. Stroud. Light him up, big boy.
That'll disappoint some of the locals there that are the Ohio State fans down there in Cincinnati. And, of course, Steelers at home with the Packers. And this is it's going to be interesting. Texans are 4-4. So, yeah, they can't afford to lose any ground here. This is about – I got to see if I could find somewhere. I think I might still have it on my desktop. I'm going to have to find out, Brian, and see if I have – I had at some point, I think I'll find it though. I don't have it offhand, but there was the entire predictions that we made at the beginning of this season, right? And this is where we had everybody kind of, sort of, right? We weren't sure about the Ravens, but we had the Browns like with on the winning side of the football with a winning record. And the same thing with the Bengals. We had the Bengals pretty much being the team to beat in the division. And we also had the Steelers up there, and we thought the Steelers could win the division. And now everybody's perplexed by this. It's fun listening to the national media and them trying to figure out where exactly do they put the Steelers in, the whole grand scheme of things. So anyway, that's kind of where we had it. I don't have the exact stats because we won't have it perfect anyways. We had the Steelers like 13-3, so they'll never lose a game the rest of the year. But this is where the Steelers, I mean, they could really start to hopefully stack some wins here. You've got the Packers at home. You got to go to Cleveland. That'll be a hostile environment. And then they follow that right up and then play at Cincinnati too. So back-to-back tough AFC North battles. Then they host the Arizona Cardinals and New England Patriots, teams that have virtually no identity, travel to Indianapolis, then host the Bengals, and then travel to Seattle to play the Seahawks, and then the Ravens to finish out the year. And those could be some big road games. Those last 3 could be pretty big, but that road that leads there, if they could pretty much sustain this and come out of this, let's see, we got the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, and they could be a 10-win team. You would think that should be good enough to get them into the postseason, barring any type of tiebreakers. They might need to win 11, by the way this is going right now. So the Packers game on Sunday is huge.
Yeah, it's very important at this point. If you listen to the DirecTV or commercials or whatever the commercials are, there are no garbage games. They
haven't flexed anything yet, but Thursday Night Football tells DirecTV to hold hold their beer. The
Hold
1-7 Panthers at the 2-7 Chicago Bears.
Oh my God. That is the definition of a why. What else is on Amazon Prime? Because I'm not watching that crap.
I don't even know what's on there right now. With all the strikes, they're just putting up a bunch of documentaries anymore. It feels like Netflix and everybody else. So
Reacher's coming out though.
What's
Reacher's
that?
coming. Season 2 of Reacher is coming on Amazon Prime. Season 2, Reacher.
Haven't gotten into that yet, man.
Well, that's your loss, man. That's your loss.
I gotta get in. I was into the movies, and of course they have the scene, like the next 3 days also had the scene in Pittsburgh where it was like
well, but you know that's not Jack Reacher. See, if you read the books, Tom Cruise is not Jack Reacher. Tom Cruise is a little punk, right? I say Tom Cruise is a little midget punk. All right, he's like 4 foot tall. He has to stand on stilts to kiss his leading ladies. He's not Jack Reacher. Jack Reacher is 6'6" and weighs like 280. No. The guy who plays Reacher in the TV show, that's Jack Reacher. Tom Cruise, a little punk, pretending to be Jack Reacher.
Just saying how cool it was for him to blend into the crowd, or Russell Crowe, who was, Russell Crowe's a little bigger there, but maybe not the
Russell Crowe is a little bigger, but he's not muscular enough.
Yeah, but it's just cool, like that. If you've never been for, particularly the Pirates don't draw the best of attendance in Major League Baseball, but you go to a Steelers game and legitimately, like what I have on will pass for you to be able to avoid the authorities and escape into the crowd for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know if we have anything else. Matt Canada on the sidelines. Maybe this will continue to be a thing. Steve Wilkes is moving down to the sidelines for the 49ers since they're struggling defensively and they've dropped 3 games in a row. So they copycat league. It's like, well, if it worked for Matt Canada, it's got to work for Steve Wilkes. We'll see if that continues to be a thing or not, and if it's successful. And I guess
here's the thing that needs to work for Matt Canada. Don't let him think he's doing well.
Yeah. Because
then he'll go back to that cutesy trickeration crap, and my plans are all working. My plans are working. No, you still stink. You're still terrible. I still hope you're gone at the end of the season. Just stand there and call plays that are conservative and will work.
Yeah, and I love the folks that are like, they're pretty happy. Like Josh Dobbs just won the. I'm happy for him.
I mean, good for Josh Dobbs.
Probably not what the Atlanta Falcons aren't exactly the strongest football team, and the Atlanta Falcons too weren't prepared for Josh Dobbs. They were prepared for Jaron Hall. But hey, 20 of 30, 158 yards. But everyone's talking about like, well, they should have kept Josh Dobbs. And it's like, look, the Cardinals didn't keep Josh Dobbs. The Browns didn't keep Josh Dobbs. The Jaguars, who needed a quarterback back then, did not keep Josh Dobbs. Like,
I am very, very happy for Josh Dobbs. We've always liked Josh Dobbs, but he was the 4th quarterback at the time and did not perform well in preseason the second time around. And so it wasn't a surprise, right? They got whatever they got. There's only so much room, but I am thrilled for Josh Dobbs. And he's had, regardless of where he's been this season, he's had a nice season. He had a couple nice games for Arizona. He's now had this nice feel-good moment for Minnesota. Yay, Josh Dobbs. Very happy. But there is a reason they didn't keep him, and there's a reason that none of the teams that he's played for have kept him.
Yeah, I think it's consistency. He had threw like one nice ball on a diving catch to Juju Smith-Schuster in the infamous X-ray room game with the old Oakland Raiders, and it's not to poo-poo anything with Dobbs, but do you think he would be performing? Would the Steelers offense be doing any better with Dobbs over the last year and a half? I'm not on that. I'm on that train. And if you look at it too, what are the Steelers at now? Kenny Pickett, 7 game-winning drives, clutch gene, as we were talking about. And then since the bye week last year, I was trying to figure out what their record has been, because it's 5-3 this year. And then, of course, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 7-2 with the 5-3. Come on. We need the.
You got to put the sign up. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
So 7-2
and 5-3
right? And 5-3. That's 12-5.
That is most impressive, my friend. 12-5 with Kenny Pickett, full-time starter since the bye week last year. I think that's pretty good. It might not be pretty, but a win is a win is a win.
It's good enough.
Yes.
It's pretty ugly, but it's good enough.
We always talk about Adam Shine with the Shine on Sports, and he actually said that the Steelers will make the playoffs. I think he actually said he guarantees they'll make the playoffs, but he won't say anything further from there. He's pretty much intimating that they'll get, the doors blown off.
Wait, did you just say we always talk about the Adam Shine on football? Did you say that sentence?
Not in he's from it's what he does. It's a Shine on football or whatever.
I know, but you said, we talk about the Adam Shine and the Shine on football. And I'm like, we've never talked about Adam Shine ever.
Oh, I most certainly have.
You might talk about him with Zach, but I never talk about Adam Shine.
I've talked about him as much as Mark Madden on this show, and maybe a stretch. That's because he's not local, but he's national media with bad takes.
And why did you even mention Double M? Right? Well, that's as bad as he who shall not be named. Now you're going to cause
Colin Coward.
You're just causing problems.
Colin Coward.
Oh, he's terrible.
Another one.
He's another one that just needs to get smacked.
Yep.
Every time I see his commercial where he's like, no matter how many times I'm right, you still won't agree with me. And I'm like, that's because, just the fact that you're right 1 out of 900 times doesn't mean I should agree with you.
Yeah, that is so very true. I was just digging through the numbers to see if there's anything else, any stone left uncovered that wasn't unturned. Oh, I didn't tell our XM people where they could find the game. Oh, well, it's on XM radio somewhere. It's always a pain in the butt to find
XM
those.
Folks. It's on the XM radio.
It's on the XM.
Only got 947 channels. Just scroll through until you find it.
Well, it's in the afternoon slot. Where's the Steelers even at in the media guides here? I tell you, the NFL is really screwed. Here we go. XM Steelers are on 156 or 231, so they would have had to scroll a while to find that. I usually set my XM radio at 225. I have a preset on there because that's the first station, I think, in the lineup of the individual games. If you have the package that has all the individual games, if you have
why does the whole idea of XM radio now still feel like so 20 years ago to me?
I don't know, because they don't really have competition because they absorbed and merged, and it's just kind of like
it's called streaming services, my friend.
Yeah, why don't they have anything like that? Like I guess, well, you got the NFL Plus that you could get.
You do have the Plus.
The Plus can get it done, but
you know what doesn't work in Brno?
What?
The Plus. You have to get this other NFL package when you're in overseas. Some NFL overseas crap that they want to charge me extra money for, and you know which finger I'm giving them for that.
Well, it used to be Game Pass, and the international Game Pass was always superior to the domestic one in the States because they actually have the live games on it, not just the local. It was like Sunday Ticket. So I don't know if that's still the case over there with the whole YouTube TV and everything. It probably is. It's probably the way that if it was the old DirecTV contract. So that's about does it for us, folks. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I know we're all over the place, especially Brian, halfway around the world. Thanks for joining me, my friend, and look forward to hopefully a victory.
Happy to do so.
Yes,
wait, I'm trying to see if there's something in check that I can put on the screen that you can't read, but I don't have anything in here. So,
well, even like a notepad that has like a fancy address.
Well, it's like, see, this it ruins it because this right here, which is a bunch of crappy coffee stuff that I won't drink. You might drink this, but I'm not going to drink this.
What on earth?
But see, it's all in English except for whatever that word, vegete doma. But like everything that I read doesn't look like this side. It looks like this side up here. Everything over here. It's like you walk around the town and you're like, what the hell does that say? I don't know what that says. The only thing, optometric. I said, clearly I've now had a breakthrough. I can speak Czech because I knew optometric meant glasses were going to be in there. And sure enough, it was an optometrist and they had glasses. And I've said, I don't need to go there. But if I did, I could find that. I can't find a damn Red Bull to save my life, but I could find an optometrist.
You need to get Babbel. That's what you need. All
right. So I know we're over. I know the 2%ers are already gone. We're at the 0.5%ers, right? So there's a place, there's a little pub down the street, which the last time I came to Brno, I went there and I enjoy it very much. It's called At the Three Devils. And it has, demon carvings all over the walls. And I think it's funny and it amuses me when I see them, but the food is pretty good, right? So we went there on Sunday when we flew and we got in to go have lunch. And the first time we went there, the waitress spoke a little bit of English, right? This time, forget it. She doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. She's trying to ask us what do we want to drink? And so she's saying a word. We don't know what it is, right? And we're like, and then finally she does the drink motion. We're like, oh, okay. And I said, water. And she's like, The
bubbles are still.
No. She doesn't know what the hell I want. Water. Anyway, so I get out my phone and I open up Google Translate and I type in water. And you know what the translation for water is in Czech? Water. And I'm like, how the hell did you not know that? Even better. So I'm like, she's just screwing with me, right? She's just messing with me because she doesn't care. She's not getting, she doesn't expect a tip. So she's like, I'm going to screw with the American guy. And so they have a jalapeno burger, right? It's a burger with jalapenos. It's very good. Bacon. It's very, very good burger. I like it a lot. And I said, all right, what's the translation for jalapeno burger? You know what the translation is for jalapeno burger? Jalapeno burger.
Wow. It's good that you're world traveled, my friend. And likewise, it's like, I might be somewhere in the States and there's people who don't speak English here. So, I mean, it happens.
That's true.
The only story I have even remotely close to that was I went to Quebec City, Quebec, Canada, and we were like in 8th grade. I was like 13, 14 years old, right? And we took a bus trip up there. It's something like ungodly, like 16 hours or something. And they speak, Francais. It's it's the French Canadian side of everything.
They speak French Canadian.
Yes. The French Canadian, yes. So the French Canadians do not want to speak English. At least back when I was there, it was like this major source of pride that everything. So you would have some things that are bilingual there, but that's about the most culture shock that I've been accustomed to. There are parts of the country here where, I bump into people, even the girlfriend's dad, I don't really understand him. It sounds like the guy off the Waterboy where yeah, very fast talker. Yeah. So anyways, folks, that'll do it for us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a rating or review. And until next time, my name's Joe. His name's Brian. We hope to catch you sometime next week on the post game. Go Steelers. And we encourage everyone out there to be safe, be good, and we'll catch you later.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.